Hello my friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family. Let's start at Yellowstone. So we have the USGS warning of poisonous gas emissions at Yellowstone. These toxic gases can kill animals. Well, yeah, humans too, obviously. And as we know, Yellowstone is the subject of so much speculation over whether there will be a major eruption in the future, but now the National Parks authorities have a more pressing issue to worry about, as experts warned of toxic gases venting from the supervolcano. And here you can see a very old picture from 1897 of a silver-tipped grizzly which died because of poisonous gases being emitted from the area. And Yellowstone National Park is home to thousands of hot springs and geysers spewing clouds of mostly harmless, rotten-smelling gases. But in the deeper parts of the Yellowstone wilderness, where tourists are told not to stray, toxic fumes of lethal gas are powerful enough to kill. So the USGS scientists studying Yellowstone volcano have warned of the ever-present danger in the latest issue of the weekly Yellowstone Caldera Chronicles. Dozens of Yellowstone animals have dropped dead over the years as a result of inhaling toxic fumes. The two killers are poisonous levels of carbon dioxide, CO2, and hydrogen sulfide, H2S, which are concentrating around ground levels. Most of the gases emitted by Yellowstone's network of hydrothermal pipes are harmless water vapor gases, but hiding in these emissions could be concentrations of toxic gases which have proven to be lethal to animals. CO2 is particularly dangerous because it's odorless and colorless. H2S, on the other hand, is easier to spot thanks to the distinctive smell of rotting eggs. But the gas is also colorless and flammable. Both gases typically pool around ground levels because they're heavier than air, and this can be absolutely lethal to animals grazing in the park fields with their noses close to the ground. In most circumstances, wind will dilute carbon dioxide and hydrogen sulfide to concentrations that are not threatening to the health of animals and people. However, in certain very stable atmospheric conditions, though, these relatively heavy gases can accumulate in low-lying areas and pose a serious health hazard. And so is this just something that always is, or are they shooting this out there because something has changed? Always am suspicious whenever you see anything like that. We have several violent tornadoes reported in China with injuries being reported, and these occurred on the 13th and the 14th. Numerous homes were damaged and many residents were injured. And this is in northern China's Tianjin municipality. It did snap utility poles and damaged houses, and we do have videos for you guys to check out on that as well. As always, I'll have all the links for you as well. And this is a peek of, excuse that volume there, of some flooding in India. And I don't know, man, would you cross that bridge? Would you cross that bridge? That bridge might be going bye-bye any minute. I don't think I would do it. We've seen so often these bridges get swept away. I really don't think I would take the chance at that. And so India, we've been talking about India. The death toll has now risen in Kerala to 77. Officials say at least 10 people were killed on Wednesday night, taking the toll to 77. Floods, landslides, bridge collapses in India's monsoon-hit state of Kerala. This southern state is home to about 33 million people and has placed local agencies on the highest alert level in what has turned out to be its worst monsoon in almost a century. All districts are under red alert as more rains are expected in the next 24 hours. And it's been intense. Then again, there's a video there as well. Flash floods sweep away 11 picnickers in India as well. And this was in central India on Wednesday. Another sad situation. 7 others rescued by helicopter, but 30 people remain trapped on rocks in the river in Madhya Pradesh state. She said the fate of the 11 missing people was not known. Water levels in the river rose suddenly because of monsoon rains in the area, about 285 miles south of New Delhi, and nightfall was hampering the rescue efforts. Hundreds of people die every year in these floods, but again, this has been that word that we have used so often, unprecedented. As is these unprecedented 81-degree readings, which likely are going to set the record for the highest ever temperatures ever measured in California waters. Very unusual, more akin to what we see in Florida. 81 degrees is unusual for the Pacific for sure. And this is 2 buoys registering this off the coast of San Diego. So, and this is adding to the storms and that whole just conveyor belt of storms we're seeing in the Pacific, while the Atlantic has been very, very calm. So going through some news briefs thanks to the watchers. Tropical storm Leapy makes landfall over Kyushu, Japan. Brought heavy rains and strong winds. Although the small size of Leapy limited the radius of its impact, rainfall up to 2 inches has been reported in some areas, forcing authorities to advise people to be on alert for flooding, landslides, and strong winds, and prepare to evacuate as a precautionary measure. And the storm has also affected the Korean Peninsula. San Diego hit 17 consecutive days above 80 degrees, the longest streak in 34 years. And you know, I had some friends out in San Diego, and I always viewed them as just hothouse flowers in the sense that, oh my God, it's so hot, it's 82 degrees, or oh my God, it's so cold, it's 68 degrees, or whatever it is. There's just like, they're used to this Mediterranean climate of like, you know, what most people think is perfect temperatures. I prefer it a little bit hotter than that, more of a tropical climate. But San Diego and Southern California, you know, is basking in it, as we know. Now, Puerto Rican authorities are saying the entire island has power again. Electricity is finally restored to the entire island of Puerto Rico as of August 14th, nearly a full year after Hurricane Maria killed more than 1,000 people. Remember, they changed those official numbers drastically. As we lose our feed, what's going on here? Okay, that was really weird. They changed those numbers so drastically, upgrading them a year later, you know, a whole year later. So you really, I don't know, you know, there's so many cover-ups, there's so much going on in so many different ways, and we're just, I guess, used to it now. As my Google Chrome is not responding and bumping off, and I hope you guys are still here. Hope you are with me, and I apologize for the delay, my friends, as we probably have some gremlins tapping into us here, which, you know, it does happen. It happens to all of us, and I watch other YouTubers, as I'm going to bop some of these off just in case one of these is giving us the gremlins. As I watch many other YouTubers going through the same sort of things, and you know, we don't know what we have going with the Grand Solar Minimum, and you know, the satellites, that are going to be issues, and then of course we have the FCC and all this other stuff too that are issues as well. And this is out of Electroverse. Grand Solar Minimum comes to the town of La Veta, Colorado. It's been a summer of things to come for the small town of La Veta. First, extreme drought struck the region, that the spring fire forced people to flee, and now what many longtime locals are calling the worst hailstorm in living memory has left significant damage throughout the town. The storm hit about 7 p.m. Tuesday evening, dropping baseball-sized hail through the community, lasting about 10 minutes, and pummeling any surface the hailstones came in contact with. And it actually knocked all the apples out of an apple tree, as well as damaging cars, as you can see. I mean, we're seeing this everywhere. And Colorado, as we talked about before, is particularly vulnerable, especially the northern part, to these types of storms. And so, as we were saying, there's really no perfect place to be. And just a quick update on the red tide. And 12 dolphins washing ashore in Sarasota County. That's typically what you would see in an entire year. The state of emergency, the hundreds of sea turtles, like 450 sea turtles. This is just, it's so horrible. And it's just, it's something that really ticks us off. And it's completely damaging Florida in every way you could think of, economically, obviously, ecologically. And it's becoming a extreme health hazard for the residents along the coast. And we're talking about the FCC, and so it just hit me too. It's like, why do we even have an FCC? Why? I mean, I'm very much, I guess, the more I think about it, the more I realize I'm pretty libertarian in most of my views. I am so against big government. And real big government, not what the Republicans call big government. Because you know what? The Republicans and the Democrats, they're in the same boat. They're working for the same people. And they're both huge proponents of big government. Just look at the results of your Republican presidents and your Democratic presidents, and you're not going to see a big difference in spending. You're really just not. And so FCC, Federal Communications, I mean, why? Why? Why Federal Reserve? Why FCC? Why federal this? Why federal that? Why are they, well, we know why, because they want complete control. And these are all tools of the corporations, tools of the big banks, and tools of the global military-industrial complex. And so, as these entities just continually get bigger and bigger and bigger, we're seeing the rights of everybody on the planet disappearing so fast. It's mind-boggling. So the FCC shuts down Alex Jones's pirate flagship radio station, and calling it hate speech and what have you. I don't listen to Alex Jones. I have in the past, years and years ago. It got to be just one big infomercial, just basically selling all his products. And to me, it just, I don't know. I just wasn't interested anymore, but I don't like seeing anybody's speech shut down. Freedom of speech is what the country was founded on, but that is going away so fast. So fast. Kiss the First Amendment goodbye, because it's going bye-bye, and we're watching the death of it. Truly, we're watching the death of the country in so many ways, at least from what the Founding Fathers had envisioned. And we're truly, watching 1984 in George Orwell's vision becoming a complete reality, total reality, and it's happening extremely fast, my friends. Don't blink, you might miss something major. As President Trump signs $82 billion spending boost for the Pentagon. Oh my God, thank God he did that. We really need to spend another $82 billion there. Another $82 billion for bombs, for lasers, for guns, for ammo, for satellites, and for drones to watch the citizens of the world, for DARPA projects. It just goes on and on. Meanwhile, you know what? There ain't going to be any food on the shelves really soon, and meanwhile, we're adding $82 billion going into military spending. When we're faced with what's going to become the most massive extinction level event due to lack of food, lack of proper shelter for people, and just deteriorating global conditions. Meanwhile, hey, we'll bump up the defense spending to about 700 billion. And I guarantee you, if he makes it for 2 full terms, and if there's anybody left alive on the planet, he'll be over $1 trillion a year in defense spending. It will see we are seeing the biggest military increases in spending that you've ever seen. So it doesn't take much to figure out who is really behind the Trump presidency, and that's the military-industrial complex. And they've apparently won that tug of war with the the global financiers that were behind the Bushes and the Obama and Clintons, and the military-industrial complex is in full control, and so more and more money goes into it. 21 trillion can't be explained where it is. 21 trillion. And that happens to be the debt that the U.S. has, and that happens to delegate out to each and every one of us. And, what can you say about that? I mean, what can you say about that except for how is everybody in this country and on this planet allowing this to happen without speaking up? Well, you know what? You speak up, and the FCC will get you. Federal land in California could be opened up to more fracking. That's just what they need when California is overdue for the big one. We might as well just frack the crap out of it and just, intensify all the earthquakes that will be coming. So this is just, more good news from the Bureau of Land Management, and they're considering leases that will allow fracking on nearly 2 million acres of California land, including federal mining estates in Fresno, Kern, Kings, Madera, San Luis Obispo, Santa Barbara, Tulare, and Ventura counties. And as we know, fracking involves injecting water and extremely toxic chemicals into the ground to break apart rock and release the oil inside. And some worry the process could cause earthquakes. Yeah, you think? So, this is just another thing in how they're going to increase the intensity of the quakes that are inevitably coming. And so let's go to something a little bit happier. And here's some uses for pallets, and especially in regards to gardening. And so this is out of Insteading, which is a really, really cool site, and I've quoted from them before. Pallet gardening and 19 ideas for the ultimate upcycle. And of course I have the links for you guys to check it out, but check out some of these ideas here. They're using some pallets as a fence, and of course you could fill them in. You can make a plant pallet wall. Check that out. Pretty cool idea, and you might as well do it so that it's growing something you could actually eat or take medicinally in the case of herbs. Vertical pallet gardening right here. And there's so many options, and I mean, just check to make sure ideally that it's not chemically treated wood, especially if it's food related. And here you have a view of a nice little garden in the backyard there as well. And vertical gardening, make use of space, I mean, if you're short on space, you could definitely make good use of it doing things like this, and even stacking them too high, and bracing them a little bit and creating yourself a complete wall. And what's nice is you could move this as well if you had to. You can move it depending on time of year and conditions. And that was a raised bed one. Very, very cool. Flowering pot wall, hanging pot wall, actually putting the pots straight in there. Pretty cool idea as well. Vine-grown pallet garden, a painted pallet garden, very cute. Something that you could do with the kids. Pallet garden table. Now, how's that for an idea? Creating a table out of it. It's like, you look at that, the A-frames, great ideas as well. There's so many things you could do with stuff that's just being thrown out. Just reclaim these products. I mean, look at these. This is so creative. And here they actually made like a deck rail system out of it. Now that's brilliant. Look at how brilliant that is. Lattice, and pups like it. Making the little window box. A little gardening oasis. Composite bins. Great ideas. Really, really great ideas. And I'll have the links for you guys too. So the secret to longer life is truly low tech. And so this is Blue Zones, which is all about areas where people live to be very, very old and very, very happy and healthy. And so there are different Blue Zones around the world. But one of the things that is a common denominator, and so these are some of the common denominators into what makes people live a long, healthy, happy life. Move naturally throughout the day. Have and cultivate a strong sense of purpose. Downshift every day to relieve stress. The 80% rule. Stop eating when you're 80% full. Plant slant. Make beans, whole grains, veggies, and fruit the center of your diet. Wine at 5. Enjoy wine and alcohol moderately with friends and or food. Belong. Be part of a faith-based community or organization. Love ones first. Have close friends and strong family connections. The right tribe. Cultivate close friends and strong social networks. So at the beginning of this exploration, we were interested in figuring out if DNA had anything to do with the exceptional health and longevity seen in these regions, where people really live well into their 90s and even hundreds and are doing well. They're active. What they learned was it's not the DNA, and it's not even the geography. As the Western influenced lifestyle and diet come in, these blue zone regions are dying out. The reason most of these places have such incredible health outcomes was partially because they're isolated geographically from the rest of the world. It took a while for fast food, processed food, and large quantities of meat to infiltrate their diets. But as we see in Okinawa, Japan, the newer generation has a more modern lifestyle, eat a more Western pattern diet, and now they're starting to have the health problems of the Western world. Their geographic location hasn't changed. It's all about lifestyle, my friends. Lifestyle. And that's it in a nutshell. And again, these are the things to do. Have a strong family bond. And that doesn't mean it's necessarily with blood relatives. Find your tribe. Band together. Be supportive. Can you guys handle the wine at 5? Enjoying a glass of wine or alcohol with some friends and or food? It's that chilling, relaxing, enjoying, laughing, enjoying company, enjoy being with each other. Eat mostly vegetarian or totally vegetarian. If you do take in meats, it should be sparingly. And don't overeat. That's one of the things that, well, we might not have a choice soon, as far as that goes. But don't overeat. We truly, truly don't need to eat as much as we have been conditioned to believe. And, as I've talked about before, one of the things that's been shown to just consistently every time increase lifespan is caloric restriction. So if you have a BMR of 2,000 calories, and the BMR is basal metabolic rate, and you get your body used to taking in 1,400 or 1,500 calories, you're going to live longer. It's pretty simple, and it's going to work almost 99.9% of the time. So it does depend on what those calories are. If they're all Twinkies and Fritos, then maybe not. But if you're eating organic fruits and veggies and legumes and grains and occasional fish, maybe occasional meats, occasional, then your chances are you're going to live a much longer, healthier, happier life. And it's all about being belonging. It's really we have to pull together and become tribes again. We have to pull together and love each other again and support each other again. And so many of you out there are doing it, and it's a beautiful thing. So my friends, as always, thumbs up, support the channel, grow with us, join us, come and click the bell for all the updates, subscribe and share with as many as possible. get the videos to go viral so that we can wake up as many people as possible to everything that's going on, from the Grand Solar Minimum to 1984 and Big Brother that is with us now. We need to change our reality in a positive way, and we need to do it by sticking together and voicing our opinions together, working together, protecting each other, sharing with each other, and loving each other. So my friends, may you always be blessed with abundant peace, health, well-being, love, gratitude, and all good things, and always be kept safe. God bless, my friends. Namaste.